Scatter their forces to the four winds.
Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to a little bit of Total War Arena. So, yeah, closed beta's back in again, and I wanted to see if anything really changed. It looks like the maps have changed quite a bit, but the general principle of the game doesn't seem like it has. For those of you who aren't in the know necessarily about this game, it is a sort of base attack type team game. It mixes elements of both Total War and something like a MOBA. Let's go ahead and actually get our archers to start attacking these guys potentially. Oop, actually, let's retreat. Okay, so my ally back here is going to provide a fairly beefy wall of meats for me. Alright, so... And I'm pretty damn sure as well that I'm like the only archer player here that actually has gotten an addition of spears, but, you know, whatever. Alright, I can hit these guys from behind here. Oh, these guys are heading towards me as well. Here we go. Okay, so I need to get back with all my troops here. Let's rapid advance the hell out of here. Unfortunately, this means that my spearmen are gonna get completely wrecked in this fight against these other troops here. Well, I can start firing into this group again. But yeah, my ally back here decided to AFK. That's lovely. Let's get another shot here since I can. And again, my spears are just there basically as a distraction ultimately. Alright, we can switch our shots to these guys now. They're causing some friendly fire to themselves as well amongst all this chaos here, so let's go ahead and fire that. Get that focus fire in. Deals a bit more damage. Alright, Ramirez, you're up. You're up, buddy. It's all you. So my spearmen here have actually held pretty damn well here. What I see is continued from the long tradition of this game is that teamwork is still not very good. Let's see here. They've got, yeah, just a bunch of cavalry swarming into our base here, so they're going to capture it very, very quickly. I need a rapid advance into here. They've just managed to run a bunch of cavalry into our home base there, but nothing really I can do about it since I've got archers. And we've got a bunch of AFK people, so of course that's not really helping either. Over on the right flank we've got like 2 dudes worth of people that aren't really doing anything. So, that's lovely. Looks like some of our dudes managed to get into that, into there though. Clean this up, I guess. Alright, so all these guys are basically screwed, so that's fine. I wish you could take, like, it used to be that if someone AFK'd, you could take control of the troops. I think that kind of needs to come back into this game here. It's clear that if someone is just AFK, then that's going to make a huge disadvantage for you. Oh, got some, bunch of archers over here. I'm going to have to help out in this. There are some cavalry coming in, and I hope that they are smart enough to go after the archers and rather than these skirmishers, since these skirmishers are getting completely trounced by all these arrows. And looks like they kind of were, but at the same time I don't think they got in there quite quick enough. Alright, I'm going to switch over to attacking these guys here. Now, maybe they'll just suicide run into these swordsmen, and it kind of looks like they might have. So these swordsmen are going to start fighting back, which is nice. Looks like our base is being captured again, but... Oh, let's see if we can get some shots off here. Oh, shit, Pila. Alright, we need to get out of here. I don't know if it really matters that much if I'm stacked up like this, but it probably does, honestly. Yeah, our opponents have managed to mass up against us in a really sort of profound kind of way. Although it looks like we're starting to catch up to them just a little bit as well.
Annihilate them!
Alright, let's see if we can manage to land these volley shots here with the focus fire. Looks like we got them, but yeah, we're getting hit by cavalry in the flanks there, so we're going to get completely wrecked, and I'm also getting attacked on my left flank by more guys there, so we just had too many people AFK, I think, because we had all our guys on this right flank not doing anything for a long time too. So it really hurt us quite badly. So I see that the matches are still quite quick. Matches were fairly lengthy in the previous one. I think you start off a lot closer in this than you used to. Looks like the opponent just rushed everybody at us, actually, so we're capturing their base, but I don't know if we'll be able to do it as quickly as we can, no. Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to be able to capture it before they can stop us. Like, we might actually do it, because the enemy base capture is at past 50% now. And it's going to take them a while to start catching up on that, so I don't know how if that's going to work or not. But I don't think it should have been an archer player doing this. It should have been a cavalry player, because he could have started way earlier. But, oh, looks like some enemies have sort of run into them. I wonder if, what's going to happen there. Oh, no, that's theirs, I guess. No, what the hell are these guys doing back here? Looks like they're retreating, I guess, into the sort of town center there. Yeah, unfortunately for us, it looks like some cavalry has come into it to try and stop this. And they will be able to stop this with some cavalry like that. And that's immediately routed those archers, so... And more and more troops just sort of flooding in. So I think that the trick with this one is just going to be melee balling up all your troops. Traveling in a big block and then sort of doing that. Yeah, our ally, now that that's happened. So there's no point trying to do a sneak attack, because even if just a small amount of troops come back, it sort of disrupts the enemy base capture thing. So this wasn't really a good call, I guess. Like, doing it so that they have to pull back forces with like just one cavalry unit, and then when they sort of react to it, you retreat that cavalry unit, would be a really smart idea. But the way that this happened was just really not that useful. Yeah, so they're gonna definitely take this. Our opponents just played this much better. Alright, so let's see what else might happen here. So, the previous way that people played this was they just took tons and tons of artillery, and just sort of did really silly things. And a few players would take infantry and what have you. One of the things was that, like, ranged units were ridiculously underpowered in the previous ones, and I'm hoping that that changes in this one, but it really doesn't look as though it is. The reason that it was difficult to play the archers is that friendly fire was such a major part of it, and they probably actually need to change the mechanic behind that. Because units would typically aim at their own units before they would aim at enemies, if it was in a melee blob. So, and people had such short distance with their ranged units, and had such short distance with their spotting, that typically speaking you could only get units to do that. So I'm not really sure what damage means. I've got 77% damage. I don't really know what that means. 23% spotting. I guess, oh, this is what I get for my rewards. Okay, this is where my points came from, so... yeah, that's perfectly okay there. So, you can see that this uses that sort of style of other types of games, free-to-play games, where you can get premium currency and stuff like that, and improve your units just sort of by leveling them up, a little bit like War Thunder or World of Tanks, stuff like that. Generally speaking, rather than trying to improve your units, what you want to do is actually unlock the next tier of unit. So you can see that I'm going to be working towards that gradually and slowly. We've got our archers here sort of working up and up and up, but what we're hoping to do is eventually get to the next type of archer here, which is the archaic archer. Now I could actually switch over to using mostly spearmen. And these guys are not necessarily that good either, but I like having the combination of having some archers plus spears. I might actually go for 2 and 3 in this direction here, but unfortunately, like, the commander that I currently have is mostly an archer-focused one, so it's probably better for me to stick with archers and just try and learn how to deal with that. But yeah, no, it's gonna be. We'll try and find one more game. It's a bit too short for a Sunday SmackDown. But yeah, I'm not necessarily too sure that I'm happy with this particular style of game, just because I don't necessarily think that the line of sight systems in these types of games are necessarily too advantageous. Just because there's no sort of reason for players to spread out in this sort of game. So getting vision in a large area rather than just, like, you basically either try and form a gigantic death ball like our opponents did there, or you just sort of let your team defend camp on your whatever sort of hill in a defensive posture with all of your stuff blobbed up. Because whoever's got more people in the local area is just going to win this every time, it seems. I mean, that might not be the case once you get access to horse archers, but I'm not necessarily sure when I get access to those. We could actually check that, but... okay, so we can check this display here. And you can see that there's actually some stuff that we could just outright buy. I don't really feel like that's necessary typically with these types of games. It's made by Wargame, and they're pretty okay about not making the stuff that you purchase that much better, or really any better than the stuff that you can get for free, so there are some exceptions to that, but I don't really find them to be that exceptional. Either way, looking at it, I don't really see any particular evidence for horse archery here. And that just might be that the Greeks don't have access to that, but let's check the others here. I guess I can't check those while we're in this. Okay, so the other factions that you can get access to in this are the Romans and the Gauls. So we'll see how this all works out for us. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that archers are actually going to be very good in this game, so I think you are just going to want to go for swordsmen or whatever. Alright, so less archers in this composition. We've got actually smarter Greek players in that they're not just using 3 archers. I think that this composition is probably better than mine, the 2 spears, 1 archer sort of thing. You can see lots of cavalry players, which is kind of crazy that you can see like the Scipio with level 3 cavalry on our team here. I got this, I can't remember who this one is actually, Germanicus I think, with level 3 swordsman as well. So I'm going to get my ass very thoroughly kicked with my tier 1 archers and tier 1 spearmen if I get into a bash-up fight against anybody at all. So what I'm probably going to want to do is try and secure vision for our team here. I'm liking the fact that the maps are much smaller than they were in the original one here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to try and secure this vision. Archers are actually quite good at just securing a vision point because they can really take advantage of it. Marathon looks pretty similar actually to the last time I remember playing on Marathon, so maybe not all the maps change very much, but this does look a bit shorter, I think. It's hard to say. Oh, and someone is drawing something like a volcano. It's a volcano, everybody. Perfect.
We must take their base from them, or scatter their forces to the 4 winds.
Alright, so I'm gonna get up on this hill here. So these towers here control vision. More useful, in my opinion, for archers to control and contest these, although this guy's using quite a few dart throwers, pylon throwers sort of things, but... Alright, so that gives us some view of the area around here. And what I'm going to do is actually just put my spears onto here. Yeah, everyone that's got sort of ranged units has had the same sort of thought. So what I'm going to do now is move my archers up onto this sort of hilltop here. I think I'm just going to have to press forward. The problem is, like, my low-tier stuff is going to not really... Oh, no, okay, I am the one that's securing this, okay. Now, you don't retain capture of this once you move your units off of it, so it's useful for me to keep moving. Yeah, so there's a bunch of crap over here. It's nice not playing this with a whole crap load of ballistas on the other team, because that was something that happened in the previous version of this game. So I do like the change that they've seemed to have removed siege engines completely, because it was kind of ridiculous. People would just fire onagers from, like, past any sort of line of sight. Now, I do know that there's some troops up around here. I'm going to try and get my skirmishers up to this hill here, get a bit more vision. Make sure that we don't get too badly outflanked. Yeah, so here's the enemies. So there's quite a few people up here. I think there's at least 2 players worth, and they're better at that sort of slog out fight than my guys are in any event. Looks like these guys are also of various whatever their tiers happen to be. I'm gonna try and get some shots off against these guys here. I can kite backwards pretty effectively, so still just gonna keep securing this vision though. There's probably gonna be some guy that tries like a cheeky play of getting around our backside. Okay, let's actually try and get these guys if we can. Alright, so he saw the cavalry and he's sort of being fended off by that a little bit, but... see if we can't do a little bit of damage to these units up here. Like, there's too many units up here. It was similar to last time. Oh, shit. Get away, get away. Okay, so I need to get out of that. Too many swordsmen, too much pylum, so... yeah. Need to get out of there pretty badly. So this is just sort of keeping me away from this area. It's, like, really annoying, because, again, it's sort of line of sight. It's that sort of line of sight thing that his units can see mine and I can't see his, so... I can't do anything, basically, sort of thing. And these guys are just sort of running back and forth to stop me from being able to do anything. My ally's kind of getting in bad spots, though, because he's sort of running into... oh, actually, no, they're letting him charge, so... actually, no, we'll go for these guys. Oh, yeah, you got some pretty good hits with that cavalry, actually. That's surprising. That cavalry's now all dead. They're trying to retreat out of combat, but... yeah, so they're all gonna die, but... so it seems like after I use my ability there, I stopped firing automatically, which is really weird. Alright, so I need to get out of there pretty quickly. These archers here. A bit weird that they're still running forward. Try and attack these ones on the side here, but... okay, well, I'm gonna friendly fire those cavalry a lot, but whatever. Yeah, again, like, even though I'm shooting into the back of an enemy unit here, I think I'm dealing more damage to my allies than I am to my enemies here. Alright, so let's back out here again. Oh, shit. Does seem as though your units automatically run. Okay, so these guys have gotten distracted by something and are gonna sort of retreat back a bit. Get me some shots into their rear. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this ability doesn't cause you to continue firing after that. You'd think that would count as an attack order, but... alright. So it looks like those cavalry managed to sort of harass these guys out of position or something like that. Our units are sort of flooding forward in the center line area pretty well, so... let's try and get after these archers a little bit here. Since it's people that are in range and the swordsmen aren't really. Okay, now these swordsmen are... ah, shit. Like I said, like this... the friendly fire system in this game is like super unforgiving. I do think that needs to change somewhat. If not a lot, honestly. Doesn't seem to be any sort of endurance meters in this game, which I actually kind of appreciate, all things considered. We don't want this game being too slow-paced here. God damn it.
We must cease fire. Our allies are in there. Double time.
Hopefully there's some sort of perk that like makes it so that you don't deal friendly fire damage. That would be a lovely general ability. Alright. Oh shit, here comes some cavalry. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take the one without the general and have it turn and fight this. Gonna lose that unit of archers there. That's fine. Oh, no, actually, it managed to move through both of them. Okay. So the momentum actually is enough to just flat out kill me there. So I'm gonna have to lose this. Actually, is this... yeah, no, I lost the control point, so we lose the vision. Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay. So I guess if cavalry gets a free run out against low-tier archers, they just instantly kill them. I've lost my general too, so that's really bad. What's worse is that this is affecting like immediately the morale of my other unit here, which I'm not even sure is going to be able to beat this cavalry unit, since it's tier 2 cavalry unit versus a tier 1 spearman unit, but I think that overall we're probably going to win the actual fight here. Got loads of cavalry sort of dealing the right thing there. I don't know if he did the right thing chasing after a tier 1 archer player. And I've still got sort of units here. So he's probably going to just avoid my spearmen. Or actually, I'm going to get attacked by like 4 cavalry units. What the shit is this?
Form phalanx under attack. We will have their base.
Okay, so we're actually dealing a humongous amount of damage against these cavalrymen. I didn't think it was going to be quite this extreme, but I don't think that even like 3 cavalry can even deal damage against the spear unit if I can hit the phalanx button, even if I'm not using it properly. Alright. Let's turn off the phalanx button. Try and rapid advance into these guys. We've got like 3 spear units, or cavalry units up here that could actually be doing something a bit more useful, but it doesn't matter. We're going to win this game for sure. Yeah, this guy's cavalry got completely wrecked there. That's fine, though. What is this here? Commander dead. Yeah, so that's just lowering morale. That's so it's an effect there. Okay, that's fine. If we could get like 2 more cavalry down here, that would actually be enough to clean these guys out. Because they can't stay and fight us with all these spears on the field here near them. And if they try and run when we've got cavalry superiority or cavalry in the area, then they're gonna just get crushed. But yeah, so the way it works is like the Romans start off with swordsmen, the Gauls or the barbarians start off with cavalry, and the Greeks start off with archers. So I think that that's how that sort of works. Yeah, so this fight here, it's going kind of okay. The speed, like the extreme speed at which like archers get killed by cavalry is a little bit much, I think, actually. So my ally like suiciding into enemy archers actually probably was working fine. I didn't think he was actually getting that much damage in though. All right. So I think we actually probably got a lot of experience off of those just random bits of damage that we dealt with our spearmen. So I'm liking the changes so far. I think it'll be different once we... Okay, well, whatever. Ooh, we got a lot more points for a win there. That's a little bit too much, I think. 400 unit experience in a single battle, okay. I don't know what these achievements actually do, though, so... Let's see, yeah, I'm going to be low on the score compared to a lot of other people. My kills in particular is going to be very low, because I just can't deal damage with these units. In terms of this, I got a win, so that's more damage. I got a lot of spotting experience data again. A lot of damage. I'm not sure if spotting is necessarily as important as it was in previous ones, but that's perfectly fine there. Anyway, yeah, so let's actually try and just check out commanders here. Let's check the Romans. So we'll switch to Germanicus and take a look here. So he starts off with the Petites, which are just basic Roman infantry. And he's also got Tyrones. Actually, so he's got archers and swordsmen. I guess the Greeks start off with the spearmen. That must be their unique one. For the barbarians, they've got Arminius, who's a Gaul. Looks like they've actually got Boudica now, which is interesting. And Vercingetorix? Yeah, that's Vercingetorix. So these guys have got cavalry and swordsmen here. So, yeah, I guess the unique thing is the spearmen for the Greeks. But it's kind of a mix of everything, but... In any event, I'm going to switch over to...
I spit at Caesar and Rome.
I wouldn't spit at Caesar. He is kind of an asshole about that. Yeah, so you can see here that this particular commander starts off with a whole bunch of abilities designed to actually get line of sight or to be archery or whatever. So in any event, we can go ahead and close that up. Check on our archers here, and we can probably get pretty close to getting the new archer unit. Yeah, we're only probably 1 battle away from that. If you actually have multiples of the same type of unit, you actually get those things faster. We'll go ahead and equip the better spears on these guys. Unlocking it gives you access to the next tier of type of spearmen here. So we ultimately do want to evolve past this form of spearmen because these guys are completely trash. You can click here, you can see that we can get access to the archaic hoplites. These guys are going to be, by comparison sort of thing, much stronger. In terms of, looks like they've only got plus 12 melee attack, but one of the things is they've got access to the Corinthian helms, and they've got the linothorax, which is going to make them much tougher to kill once they've got both of these. And like the armor values increase from both of those just is much better than what we would get if we stuck with the current version of these guys. Similarly, we can upgrade our archers, so we would get access to the new type of archaic archer, and they've got access to a stronger type of bow there. The only difference between them seems to be, though, the amount of damage, so I'm a little bit disappointed that they don't have access to some sort of armor or something like that. Or just really anything, I guess. Actually, are these guys exactly the same stat-wise? So click you. 393. Oh, yeah, no, these guys have significantly higher. I wish I could actually hit the comparison button. I can't remember how to do the comparisons for stats, but yeah, the aggression is just an amalgamation of all their different stats there. Bit confusing in terms of that. Let's see here. These guys have 198 survivability, 399 mobility. Or I guess you can do it this way. Okay, so I open up that and then I sort of cross-compare it to this. So, damn it. Okay, so yeah, we've got a pretty big increase in terms of aggression, a little bit in defense, a little bit in survivability, but looks like their mobility is a little bit higher. So yeah, that's how you compare unit stats. I wish there was a better way to do that. So yeah, I'm not really sure if this game is going to be necessarily all that great, but it's looking better, honestly, than it was in previous ones there. We can take a look at the tech tree as well for, let's go ahead and open up. I want to see what Caesar has, because he used to be actually an artillery general, if I recall correctly. I guess we have to click on Germanicus. The units should be the same, actually. So we'll open the tech tree for Germanicus here. We'll click on the armies. So do we see... Oh, we do actually see things like catapults. That's disappointing, because this really did, in my opinion, sort of make it much less pleasant to play the game here. So the fact that the Greeks don't have it is kind of peculiar, but I suspect that they're probably going to include some Greek artillery at some point in time. Now, there must be something about these that's making it so that people are not spamming them. I did see some level 3 commanders out there, and if we're seeing level 3 commanders, that means that there are people who've got access to the catapult, and these things are just obnoxious. People, you can just basically fire these things from long distance and guess at where people are spawning, or you can fire it into the vision points and automatically just clear off vision points so that people can't get any line of sight to anything. So it's not really something I think needs to be in the game, and I think the game is actually probably better off without it. Just because once you start getting some really talented artillery commanders, the game gets really awkward in a really kind of dumb way there. Looks like you've got a large number of abilities in the ability tree now for your commanders, so that's kind of nice that you can sort of make them really customized in that sort of sense there. Let's check out what I've got in terms of my commander. Yeah, so you can get stuff like just minor boosts, it looks like. Ability to hunt there. What's nice, this is actually really nice. 40 seconds of seeing a unit, even if you lose line of sight to it, is actually pretty huge. The upgrade to that +2 active time, I'm not really sure what +2 means. I'm assuming that means +2 seconds. So you could get kind of better time on that. I don't really know if that's worth it. It looks like you get it eventually to the point where it's constant, though, which is kind of interesting. So it looks like actually it's more that you upgrade your abilities rather than getting new ones, which is kind of okay, I suppose. Barrage being really good if you are firing at soft targets is kind of interesting, since eventually you're going to be firing mostly at quite armored units rather than at lightly armored units. Strictly speaking, the damage should still be positive, but I'm not necessarily seeing that as a great ability there. Yeah, so... yeah, I just don't... maybe these guys are artillery, I don't know. No, these guys are slingers. Well, it looks like they still have premium sort of ammunition and stuff like that, or abilities. Didn't really think that actually mattered that much in the previous one, other than some of the caltrops and stuff like that in particular. You could really actually screw over an opponent trying to rush you with cavalry in the previous version of this with the ability to drop that kind of stuff. Helot slingers are actually really far into the tech tree. I'm very surprised by that. Because Helots are basically just random Spartans. They're not really that impressive. But I guess the Rhodian slingers are the top tier sort of range unit for these guys. Hero of Athens Council, plus 16 missile damage versus all units. So yeah, you can, I think, buy these with silver talents, but let's actually try and find out. So squad units.
Archers! Archers!
I can't actually, I don't think I can actually get the consumables on these guys here. Now, I do believe, though, that these are used to purchase consumables in this game. So... Oh, here they are, consumables. Oh, they just don't have access to any consumables. They don't let you buy those, I guess, at Tier 1. So, that's actually fine. I'm okay with that. Perform automatically, interesting. Cosmetics, looks like those haven't been added into the game yet. So, let's see if we can see... Yeah, so once you hit Tier 2, you can start buying consumables, it looks like. Kind of interesting that you can't get that until then. I'm kind of wondering what the cost of these are. Something like plus 3 range seems really crappy. Plus 39 missile damage and minus 1 missile armor piercing damage is actually really quite good, though, I think. I'd have to figure out exactly what, but Trilobate could be actually quite good if you're just really good at microing. I think that would also be pretty interesting. I think you do buy these per battle. I don't think you buy them once. That's probably going to be the sort of case there. It looks like it's going to be a little bit like premium ammunition. I'm guessing that these guys, once you upgrade them, also have a sort of consumable item. That's generally how this sort of works here. Yeah, and what kind of things do they have? Plus 4 morale, plus 4 melee damage. So these are, given the stat numbers here, like melee damage is already 145 on this unit. The plus 4, and this isn't a spear unit, or a sword unit. This is a spear unit. So they're already looking at bonus versus cavalry with a lower melee base. So these guys are already looking at statistics that make them quite a bit better than this. So the double rations isn't giving them a huge bonus there. Share wine, I mean, that's a duration-based ability that you can do. Getting drunk in the middle of battle, apparently. Plus 1 melee defense, like, these are very small numbers. I'm suspecting that once you get into the later tiers of things, like, let's skip all the way to tier 10 again. Let's take a look at Cretan archers. Like, look at these guys, it's a pretty sweet-ass cape there. These look a lot like, actually, Alexander the Great's sort of units there, in my opinion, but... in any event, like, they've got new consumables here. Yeah, so they've got stuff like plus 72. Yeah, broadhead arrows, level 10. They've also got access to those infantry caltrops that I was talking about there. So this was actually a really effective way to sort of make it so that if you had a bunch of caltrops, people would just sort of drop a bunch of caltrops whenever they saw a cavalry unit sort of nearby. The cooldown on these is only 19 seconds, and they only take 1 second to deploy, so that's actually really powerful. I suspect that that's going to be something that a lot of people do. I wonder if it's actually going to work against cavalry very well. So these effects are going to be quite a bit more meaningful once you get to these later tiers, but at the same time, also their base stats are so much higher, so like plus 72 missile damage isn't going to matter as much, I would imagine. Yeah, because, well, actually, no, that brings it up to 300, but their armor damage, or missile damage, is 237. That's already really quite high. So, interesting. Bodkin Arrow 10, that plus 6 missile armor piercing damage could be more meaningful by the time you get to this level, because you'll probably be up against fairly tough units there. The new Archimedes Council, that's not that interesting. That's not that... by this point in time, this is actually probably really quite bad, because of the armor piercing. But you never know. Hero of Athens Council, this is actually probably just fine. But it's the caltrops that I'm interested in. I think that that's going to become a sort of defining thing there. Could also compare them to, check out what the Royal Spartans have as an example. That doesn't look like a Spartan shield there. But anyway, there are consumables here. Olympic Trials. Well, I guess actually it's probably the name of the unit, but it's probably based around the design for this character, Sanan's version of it. So these are probably not actually Spartans. These are probably, I can't remember where she's from. It was like this famous place that, that fought the Persians and then Athens had to help them. I think. You can actually probably also get information about her. Illyrian, Macedonian, blah blah blah. Huh. Okay, well, actually no, I was thinking of someone else completely. Well, either way, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. In any event, let's continue checking out these guys here. Oops. Why is this... Huh, that doesn't look quite right there. Alright, so tier 10 here, Royal Spartans. Doesn't look like I don't see anything for them that is equivalent to the deployable. They used to have one, I think. They've got access to something like Whetstones, melee armor piercing damage plus 79% for 10 seconds. It's actually pretty credible. Silver Shield Pikemen. So, I'm hoping that these don't actually add too much to these units, simply because I don't want this game to be one where people can sort of select to buy all this stuff using premium currency or something like that. But typically speaking, I'm pretty sure you can buy these using the Silver Talents, which you can get by playing the game. So it shouldn't be too big of a problem, so long as they're affordable and reasonable. Either way, though, I'm interested to see how this game goes. I'm going to probably just try and grind up a little bit through the Romans to try and get access to some of their artillery, but I'm really hoping that the artillery doesn't make this game the same way that it ruined the previous version of the game here. Because it really, I think, was the worst part about it. Let's just check. I don't think that the barbarians had access to any sort of... I don't think these guys had access to any sort of artillery previous edition. Which makes sense, because they don't really have really much of a history of that. I also don't see any sort of archer cavalry for them either now that I look at it. So yeah, that's our sort of look at the various different elements of Total War Arena. It wasn't really my cup of tea per se. I've never been a big fan of the team battles in Total War, but it's still interesting to see how it is, and I'm still pretty okay with being in the beta, of course. Don't mind that at all. So anyway, I hope you found this video enjoyable, and of course, as always, hope to see you guys all next time.